but life was simple.
Yeah.
Like you showed up and you knew what you had to do.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about it was only dependent on me. I didn't have to count on anyone else. I didn't have to resource out to anyone, nothing. It was like, I had a job, I knew how to do it, and I can fucking grind as hard as I want to. But now it's like, nope, it's not all up to me. I need to have a team around me. There's things, new things that I don't know how to do them.
Right.
You know, so something as simple as building an app, or like with Podium, finding the resources of where do you get the labels made? Where do you get the bottle made? You know, finding out that the place that manufactures the bottle does not manufacture lids. And then you're like, well, why are you making the bottle? I need a lid too. And so, you know, like stuff as simple as that. It's just, it's kind of the same process of like, all right, here's a problem. How do I solve it? And breaking that down. But now it's just much, much different. And so, you know, I'm just always thankful that I have the team around me that I do.
All right, and welcome to the One Shot Podcast. All right, so if we have like a guest list, a Hall of Fame of our guests.
He's not on it?
No. Oh. Yeah. There's three other people. There's three other people that I would put on it. But you know the dude that's standing in the back in his sweats, you know, he usually always has like a teal Easter color like sweatsuit in the back, and he's not on the podium. That's this guest today. No, I'm just kidding. This is and I think we can all agree this was probably one of our favorite guests that we've had. Yeah. If not now, you know what, Matt, I'm going to say the favorite guest that I've had for sure.
Okay,
because
I'll take it.
Because he came into town, wasn't afraid of the pandemic. He was doing a Texas tour, came in and just hung out, man. It was one of the coolest conversations we've had. And man, we just honestly had a great time with you. So on the other side of this interview, we have the one and only 5-time CrossFit Games champ, 5-time fittest man on earth, Mat Fraser. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you guys for having me back.
Yeah. Oh, kidding? Yeah. Don't thank us, man. Thanks for coming on. Yeah.
I mean, last time we were in Darren's
That's
living
right.
room.
Yeah, man.
You guys got an official
Hey, you know, Matt.
studio
No, it looks good. And you know, there was a lot of shit talking about my house. You know, everybody talks about the sound quality, the cameras weren't right. I'm like, damn. And you know what? That's what made that so special, man. Because we didn't have a studio. We were a small little outfit, and you and Sammy came up, man. And you know, as Tyler mentioned, man, we really appreciate that conversation and the time you took to come up to drive on up and spend with us. But you know, in that, we also knew that there was a transition that was going on in your mind, and you talked about a lot of different things professionally that you wanted to accomplish. And you know, we want to go back and figure out a little bit about where you are currently today.
Because just to frame a reference, we released the episode, and I think it was 3 weeks later, you officially announced your retirement from CrossFit, from competing. Yeah. So, man, how's it been?
Dude, it's been a wild ride. You know, I know I don't do well with idle hands, and so when I announced, I knew through my whole last season of training that it would be my last season. And I know myself very well, and I know I don't do well with free time or idle hands. So when, you know, it got coined that, I retired, you know, it needs to be rephrased. No, I retired from competing. Yeah. I'm busier now than I ever was, but, you know, I made sure to have projects lined up so that, you know, I didn't feel useless or empty or like I wasn't progressing towards anything. And so I thought I would take, you know, I had like a half dozen projects. I thought I would take 2, get the ball rolling, see if I liked them, and then move on to the next 2. And I thought I would kind of progress like that. And then, you know, those first 2 took them, they hit, loved them. And I was like, all right, let's just run with these. And you know, it just kind of snowball effect, and it kind of grew. They both grew to a level that I was not anticipating. And, you know, the one right now is the training, but, you know, obviously like still running Podium Nutrition and helping out with that and trying to grow that brand. You know, I released a book since last time we all spoke. So, you know, and now it's between HWPO training, podium, trying to build out a bit of a real estate portfolio, busy as hell, you know.
Yeah.
When I was competing, I could tell when my work day was over when I got tired. You know, I was never limited by time. I was only limited by energy. So once I slowed down and my movement quality broke down, that's when I went home and started the recovery process for the next day. But now I just run out of time. I never run out of energy. So, you know,
isn't it crazy that transition, man, from physically competing all day long, right? And pouring yourself. And yeah, there's a mental toll, but it's different, man. When you go from, because I always tell when we played, right? It's like nobody has a harder job than us. We're at the facility at 6 a.m. and we're there till 6 p.m. and we're watching film and this. I mean, I can't wait to have a regular life. I'm like, I wish I could go back to that schedule.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Like I talked about it before of like I think prior was like obviously physically harder, but life was simple. Like you showed up and you knew what you had to do.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about it was only dependent on me. I didn't have to count on anyone else. I didn't have to resource out to anyone, nothing. It was like, I had a job, I knew how to do it, and I can fucking grind as hard as I want to. But now it's like, nope, it's not all up to me. I need to have a team around me. There's things, new things. I don't know how to do them, you know? So something as simple as building an app, or like with Podium, finding the resources of where do you get the labels made? Where do you get the bottle made? You know, finding out that the place that manufactures the bottle does not manufacture lids. And then you're like, well, why are you making the bottle? I need a lid too. And so, you know, like stuff as simple as that. It's just, it's kind of the same process of like, all right, here's a problem. How do I solve it? And breaking that down. But now it's just much, much different. And so, you know, I'm just always thankful that I have the team around me that I do.
You know, let's talk about the team. What did you come? Was this team being built while you were training, or is this, you made the transition and then you figured out, okay, maybe there's a mentor, or how did you go about building the team around you?
So for the most part, it's, you know, with HWPO, it's the same team that I had through my whole competitive career. The man that was, manager, agent, friend, and had my coach's band for all 7 years that I competed at the games. He's now the CEO of HWPO training. And as soon as we launched it and we realized how big it was and the potential that it had, you know, he had a very nice job while I launched it. And it was, I think it may have even been before we launched. You know, we were all in a meeting and he was just there as a friend, making sure I had what I needed. And I pulled him outside and I was like, hey, what's your number? And he's like, for what? I was like, I want you to quit everything else you're doing. And I want you to be on my team exclusively. And he was like, he kind of thought I was joking. And then, you know, we brought it up again and again and again. And I was like, tell me what you need. And, you know, finally last week we made it official. Or no, not a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, but, you know, and like when I competed at the games every single year, I have the same picture after the medal ceremony. It's Matt O'Keefe, the guy I was talking about, on my right side, Sammy on my left side, gold medal around my neck. And it was the same picture every single year. And I took great pride in that like I had my team and we're there for everything. And so now I'm lucky enough to have the exact same team. Man. You know, Sammy's been working crazy hours, making sure that the launch went off without a hitch. And then we brought O'Keefe in full time. So I'm like, okay, it's same team, same goal, different venue. Just let's try to do the best job we can. And I'm bringing the people that I have, you know, just that 100% trust with.
Man, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so talk to us about Hard Work Pays Off, the app and the training program, because it's one thing to program for yourself and know yourself inside and out and know what you need, know when to push, know when to back off. It's a completely another thing to now program for tons of other people. Some people you may never see in person. Most people you probably don't ever see in person.
Yeah.
And you don't get that personal feedback. So how has that transition been, programming for yourself to now programming for thousands, hundreds of thousands of people?
Well, so kind of the point that you just talked to, that's a big problem for a lot of people, is that a lot of times they don't have any contact with the athlete that's subscribing to their programming. Mm-hmm. And so, if you don't have any outside input, you just keep doing the same thing over because you don't have any reason to change. You don't have any input. And so one of the big things that when I launched HWPO training was, I want to have that dialogue. I want to hear what people like. I want to hear the criticisms, and I want their feedback. And for myself, it makes my program better hearing all these different people. And sometimes, they say like, oh, I hate the rowing intervals. I'm like, oh, well, that's
deal
too
with
bad.
it.
Like, yeah, deal with it. But then there's other stuff. If you hear 99 out of 100 people saying like, oh, my gym doesn't have this piece of equipment. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, well, let me accommodate for that. Mm-hmm. Because, you want them to be able to do all the programming. So, I opened up that line of communication. So like with the pro track, I have a weekly call with all the athletes, and I have submitted questions prior to that I go through and answer. I go through the whole week of training so that I can point out any unique pieces, any new pieces, based on like, hey, this is the stimulus we're looking after. If you don't have this equipment, sub it for this, scale the weight this way. So, like an informed athlete can make better decisions when they have to. Mm-hmm. But then also I'm getting these reviews of people saying like, I love this piece. I hated this piece. I'm feeling super fresh, or I'm feeling overtrained. And then I can keep tailoring, always progressing towards perfection, knowing that I'm never going to reach it. Mm-hmm. But like that feedback allows me to mold the training I do moving forward. And so, anytime I go to like a big event or a competition, I set up community workouts, and it's great for them. Like if they're excited to meet me, or if they just want to do a workout while they're out of town, fantastic. But I'm using it as like a free review process of talking to all these people after the workout. What did you like? What did you not like? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And then I can use that as just live feedback. It's a free review process. And then I can use that information going forward.
Question, who's actually giving you negative reviews though? Like if Mat Fraser programmed my stuff, I'm like, yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 200 reps of back squat. Yeah. With 98%. Yeah. I'm all in, man. Let's do it.
A lot of times it's not even, it's not just the programming. We listen to people of how the programming is delivered, how the meetings are set up, the meeting times, any of that type of stuff. And, so over the year, a big thing that we kept hearing was that the tech wasn't up to par. You look at the reviews and people were very, very nice with their criticisms, but they're saying like, I love the training. This is the best training out there, but the platform that it's on makes it really, really difficult. And so we took that feedback very seriously, and, we could have kept doing what we were doing and been just fine. But, even if it, one step backwards, take 2 steps forward, even if it's 5 steps backwards, take 6 steps forward, I'm doing it. I have no interest in doing what's easy. I'm like, nope, I'm going to do what's right. And so, we made the huge investment of building out our own app, and we controlled every detail of it. But the nicest thing now is that it's ours. Yeah. So if we want to improve on it, it's on us. When we're doing the data entry, like we're the ones programming it. And so like all day today, I'm in there, like, typing in notes, typing in code. I'm not reliant on somebody else and putting that trust in some stranger to do it the correct way. I have a team around me that I trust implicitly, and we're in control of everything. So we built this platform to not only fit the goal that we have right now, but the platform is built with a good enough foundation that we can split off into different ways. So whether we, want to offer different tiers of programming, or then getting into sport specific programming, I can bring in a professional that's the best in the world at what they do. And I'd be like, all right, here's your branch off. Now, no, I'm not having to coordinate and be a middleman with somebody else. I can go, all right, here's
that allows you. That allows you to be scalable.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was a big thing, because, where we're at right now, it's fantastic.
Yep.
But I'm looking to grow.
Yes.
I heard someone say, I didn't come this far just to come this far.
Yeah.
Right? Like you didn't work this hard just to stop right here.
I think that's, I mean, when I'm listening to you, Matt, it's the way you build a business from ground up. And one thing I like about you is you're going out, you're asking the right questions, you're building data points to continue to build on those data points and figure out what you're taking into criticism. You're going through this process, and that's what people don't do. We don't go through the process of learning, taking all the criticism in, and then applying it to what you want to do, what you want to accomplish.
Yeah. And, and it may not always be like the natural reaction. Like, I think it's very natural that if you get criticized to get defensive. Right. But then, sitting back and looking at it objectively of like, okay, well, did I get defensive because there was some truth to what they were saying? And then also, I'm sure you guys know, like, you're a fool to think that you're going to do something for the first time and it's going to be perfect.
That's right.
No way.
Right.
And you look at some of these uber success stories of, where this person was 5 years ago,
right,
and they just never stopped.
Yeah.
Like I think the obvious examples are someone like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. And it's like, you look at their life on a timeline of like, at 24, worked at McDonald's. At 28, they got fired from this job and then at 30, they finally figured it out. And so for me, it's like, I'm not trying to kid myself saying that I'm going to be perfect right off the bat. But, if I hear out of 100 complaints, 99 of them are kind of like the same theme, I'm thinking, okay, that's probably a weakness of mine. What can I do to make that better? What can I do? But then, having, as you guys know, like, having the right team around you and having just a common goal. And our common goal, like, our ethos was like, we want to over service our athletes. We want to provide more. We want them to feel like they're stealing from us. So we're just doing the right thing. It's so easy to get a customer service call and just be like, nope, you did it wrong. Or we can spend the time. And even if the customer did make the mistake, and just walking them through it correctly, if you're nice to someone, they'll tell 5 friends. If you're a jerk, they'll tell 20.
That's right.
And so just always try to do the right thing, even if it's not the easy thing. And I think it has a compounding effect over time.
Well, that's the thing. And you said it a second ago. The thing that bothers me about the fitness industry as a whole is it's so easy to, and you said you guys avoid this, a purpose of it. It's so easy just to write one program, expect everybody to follow it, and one size fits all plan. And like you said, we would have been fine. We could be okay, but you want to be better than that. And so I love hearing that your program and your planning is tailored to people. And so who can benefit from HWPO? Like, do I have to be an elite athlete, or can I just be an everyday person trying to get in shape to play with my kids?
So when we originally launched, there was only one track. There was one program to follow, and it was with the intent of somebody that, the time frame was, let's say 90 minutes to 2 hours time dedication every single day. And it was scalable. Like, all the weights were based off percentages. So I'm not just throwing out an arbitrary number and then hoping it fits everyone. Everything was based off percentages. So like, my mom, who's 66, went through the same program that I was going through. And it was just, the weights were different. But
so Darren, that's promising for you.
I got this, dog. I can probably get up under it.
But then listening to the reviews or the complaints from members, half of them were saying, this is way too much volume. I don't have the time for this. My body can't keep up. And then the other half of the complaints were, this is not nearly enough volume. Like, I'm in and out of the gym in one session. And so we're like, okay. So, it's split down the middle. So let's accommodate. Let's take that same program and put it into a 60-minute format. So it's, you come into the gym, you start a clock, like a up clock, and you're out in and out of the gym with warm up and cool down within 60 minutes. You're hitting your strength work, your skill work, and your Metcon for the day. And then on the other side of things, we released HWPO Pro, which is intended for someone that's trying to compete in the CrossFit season. So the program follows the season. So open, quarterfinals, semifinals, games, and programming is tailored live. It's expected, like we put out the prerequisites, like plan on at least 4 hours in the gym every day, 2 sessions. You need to find offsite resources, whether we're road biking, hill running, going to the track, going to the pool. There's all these different pieces. So, we're just trying to open it up to be more and more accessible to more and more people. So we had those 3 tracks. And then in the transition, we opened up 2 more. There's HWPO Sweat. So it's no barbells, no high skill gymnastics. It's all like fairly low impact, very approachable for anyone and everyone. And it doesn't follow progression. So if you want to take 2 days off and jump right back in, you're perfectly fine. But it's just intended on, generic health and fitness of just get in, have a high heart rate, get a good sweat, and then go about your day. And then classic is just a daily workout, your typical CrossFit workout, your couplets, triplets, chippers. So anyone that's on any of the tracks gets classic for free. And so if you're following your progressions, but then you want to work out with a buddy, head over to classic and you just have a workout of the day and you can throw it down with your buddies.
Yeah, I love that because I left the fitness industry a couple years ago, and the most common question other than nutrition I still get is I don't know what plan to follow. And so it sounds like somebody can go to the HWPO app, no matter their skill level, and they'll have a plan for them laid out. They don't have to think, just press play and let's go.
Yeah. Obviously there's reviews in of what every program entails. And then, we have like, all right, a typical day of training on this is 45 minutes. A typical day of training here is 2 hours. And then this one is 6 hours, so we're trying to over provide information so that people can make the correct decision. I don't want somebody picking one program, spending their hard-earned money, and then being like, "Oh, this isn't what I expected it to be."
Yeah.
I want people to be happy with what they chose, and I want them to see the progress. So, we're taking the time and effort ahead of time to over provide that information to inform the customer so that they know, in this program, you need this list of equipment. In this program, you need less equipment. So if you're working out at home and you only have a kettlebell, this program is probably the best one for you, but yeah. And then, we're still looking at expanding, opening up more tracks. And I'm excited of like the idea of like bringing in professionals in their sport. So if somebody wants a very specific new skill, like, hey, we got the person for you. So whether people want to do Olympic lifting, powerlifting, strongman, whatever it is, we want to be the one-stop shop, no matter what your end goal is.
See, I love that. And it's very clear hearing you talk about this, right? Is you're passionate about this. You're passionate about getting, I'm going to say fitness generically here, fitness out to the masses and give them resources to get them as excited about it as you were for your entire career and still are, I'm sure, today. But it's really cool. And if you have not been into fitness, right? And if you have not, worked out a ton in your life or have an athletic background and you're hearing, the 5-time fittest man on earth talking about this program, it can be a little bit intimidating because it's literally like saying, hey, Tom Brady, teach me about football, right? And it's a lot, right? And so, but here's the thing, and true story, Matt, is after your interview, I was like a CrossFit hater, like for my entire life, right? Most football players are, because like, you're not going to do that movement. I'm never going to do that because like squat snatches just don't look appealing to the knees and back of professional athletes, right? Until you really learn it. So I gave it a shot after, and I literally am 1 year in to CrossFit now. I literally have been doing it.
He's a junkie now.
Dude, and I'm that guy too. I'm the guy, the CrossFit guy.
He walks around with knee sleeves and a weight belt on.
100%. And I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to do my first workout with a shirt on. So that's my
That's the number one prerequisite.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But no, really though, and it's what I'm saying is that to enter this space and to work with the HWPO app, and obviously I didn't realize how many lanes that you have within this, but literally we're working out with 75-year-old women that are just scaling the workout to different things that they can do. So don't let this like CrossFit like misconception dissuade you from an app like this that is fitness geared, because it is scaled, it can work to you and anybody. Like literally a woman came in, could barely walk. Now she's doing like overhead squats. Jeez. Like she's doing, I mean, it's unbelievable but you just got to be patient with it. You got to commit to it and you've got to follow it. And because again, when I talk about the experts, he's the expert because he has spent so many hours doing this and understanding it, the nuances of how to train, how to recover, the balance of everything. So I would highly, highly encourage getting on this because I know I am.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been a lot of fun finding the right people to put in place for these things, because exactly what you're talking about. So for programming the flagship program and pro, like that's my expertise. Yep. So, like when I'm giving a pro program, there's validity there. But then when we're looking at strongman implements, most of them, I know how to do it. I'm obviously not a strong man, but I know how to do these movements. I'm not doing a log press with 500 pounds.
Pretty strong.
But so I know people don't want to hear from me how to do a circus dumbbell press. They want to hear from a strong man. And so we're putting people in place for those things. Like same with swimming. It's like, I know how to swim. I'm decent at it. I know how to write a good workout for it. But I want to bring in the best in the world to do it. So, so if we can give that athlete a platform to be found, like we already have the whole infrastructure done. So now just give us your programming. And now when people have swim questions, they're talking to you. I'm not getting a question on swimming. They're talking to a swimmer. They're getting questions on strongman. They're going to be talking to a strongman. So putting the right people in place, and kind of the same with HWPO sweat. People don't want to hear from me on how this workout goes or how it's So we're like Sammy's the one that does sweat all the time. She's the one that loves it, is passionate about it, and it fits her time domain and her skill level. So it's like she's the one talking on it. So we're just trying to put the right people in place so that if you have questions, they're getting answered by the correct people.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So it's really cool that we're having this conversation, because you want to talk about an elite athlete that can implement his own rubber band workouts, his rotator cuff workouts.
Man,
and then
I put that work in.
And then the towel grab with his feet on the ground.
Ben gave me that workout. Ben gave me that workout. Now, though I would say this though, Matt, I'm probably the guy who needs to follow the program, because I'm not competing anymore. It's not my intent to compete, but I do need a program. And I'm always asking Ben, or I'm asking everyone else, but there's so many listeners that are out there who just won't start, who just won't get started. I mean, this is a great venue, I'd say, your platform, the HWPO platform, just to get started. You don't have to be an expert at what you're doing, but just take the first step.
Yeah, where can people find it? We know you got to go. So where can people find the app, and how do we download it?
So in the App Store, there's the Apple app and Android. So they're both there.
Doing it now. So just go. I'm not ignoring it. I'm doing it right now.
Go to hwpotraining.com to get signed up. And then, we over provide information. So what track is best for you, what's best suited for your lifestyle, your time constraints, your fitness level. And then you can get going.
I love it. Dude, I love it. So here's just a question back to the transition is how has passion played a role in, kind of making that transition a little bit more graceful for you? Because professional athletes struggle with the transition a lot of times, from an outsider's perspective and not in the house. And I'm sure that there's things that you've struggled with, like, the missing the competition aspect of it and some of the things I don't know. I don't know.
You'd be surprised.
It's like, I am golden. I am where I need to be and where I want to be. But how has passion in pursuing some of these projects helped that transition for you?
I think the biggest thing was I've stepped away from a sport before. Like I finished my weightlifting career, and the biggest struggle with it was that I didn't have a purpose after. Mm-hmm. So I literally went from this kid that was chasing his Olympic dream, living at the training center and dedicating my life to it, to just nothing. And I didn't have a thing. And so I was very well aware of that when I knew I was approaching the end of my competitive career in CrossFit. I was like, I need to have projects lined up. I need to have a purpose. I need to have a reason to wake up. And so, just putting those things in place and trying to be a service to other people. So, like leading into the first CrossFit Games that I was not participating in, I became friends with a kid who was a rookie when during my last season. And I was like, hey, come up to my house. Let me train you. Let me ask me any and every question you can think of. Let me put you through some workouts and I'll basically give you my analysis. And, he and his coach both came to Vermont, and I almost took more of a role of like coaching his coach. Cause I was like, all right, when you guys go back home, I'm not going to be there. So let me try to provide you some insight or, some experience that I've had over the years. And I had no interest in coaching. I was like, this is like a 5-day commitment and then you're done. Luckily I consider him a great friend. We stay in touch. We see each other all the time, but I didn't want to take on the role of actually coaching him. And then I gradually was like, oh, I really enjoy coaching. So, I have 2 athletes living here full time now that I coach every day. And it gives me a purpose and like, I've gone through the life experiences. I've gone through the competition season. I have a great idea of what goes into it. And I have the resources of knowledge that I can pull in from professionals in other sports and provide it for these athletes. But I'm like, my career is done. Someone else winning a gold medal doesn't take anything away from what I accomplished. Right. So let me try to like help that next generation come up and maybe not, have to deal with some of the life lessons that were hard on me. I can like kind of smooth out that learning curve a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we've said it 100 times on the show. We're going to keep saying it 100 times because it bears repeating. If you're struggling to find a purpose, find somebody to serve. Yeah. And that's what you've done. You found people that you can serve. You're serving more than just a few. You're serving hundreds of thousands. But the point is, the reason you were able to transition so well is because you found a purpose of service.
That's right.
And that's what it's all about, man.
And I love it.
100%.
We love what you're doing, man. We're the biggest fans.
You are an inspiration, I think, for athletes across the board in all levels on what it looks like to roll out and really serve the community, and again, being successful doesn't mean you're not serving the community, right? Being personally successful, that's just a gauge on your impact, right? And so I love that. I do have one other question.
The man's got to go.
I know. One other, and we'll let you go. All right. So you went from, physically training, 6+ hours a day, right? And then now, your days can be 14, 15 hours of work. How do you fit in the exercise portion of it? It's probably nice having 2 guys there that you're training and you're getting into it with them, but how important is that now? And is that been kind of a struggle to say, because I still see there's traps are there, obviously. So still getting after it, but how is fitting fitness and exercise into your daily regimen? How are you doing that?
So one point you made of like, I have 2 people here. So I have Mal O'Brien and Jake Marconi that live here and I coach them every day. I do 0 training with them. Okay. I look at my role with them as I am your coach. I'm not your training partner. But I have a group of buddies that, I wanted to get back into working out and be held accountable because it's so easy. I don't have to work out.
Right.
It's not something I have to do. It's something I want to do, but I'm always in a mindset of I always do the things I have to do before I do the things that I want to do. And so working out just constantly got put in the back burner. It's close my laptop at 10 p.m. and I'm like, well, too late to go work out now. Yeah. And so I have three buddies that come over every morning, 5:30 in the morning, and we all hit the gym. And it's half of us are all just shooting the shit, drinking coffee, but you're in the gym, you're with other people. So you're held accountable. And there's so many mornings that, you know, the alarm goes off and I'm like, I don't want to go, but then knowing like, nope, they're showing up. And so I need to show up. Otherwise they're just kind of left. Like I'm not there. So because it was something I wanted, you know, never before have I woken up at 5 a.m. like during my competition career. It is not a natural thing for me, but it's because I know it's something I want to do. I do it before any distractions come in. I don't have my phone. My phone's I'm not getting texts, calls, emails. It's while I'm in the gym with my buddies. That's what I'm focused on.
Man,
that's awesome.
Well, Matt, we know you got to go. We could do this all day, and we'll have to have you back on at some point when you have a little more time. But we got to cut Tyler off here. Or he'll keep going.
But I do want to see Matt. As this business scales, we want to get you back on as your business scales, man. And I want to say the last thing. Hey, I'm proud of you, man, because I saw it in you early that you had that entrepreneurial spirit, and you're not going to let anything get in your way of what you want to accomplish. And tell Sammy we said hello as well.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. So always fun chatting.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. All the best, brother.
All right. Have a good one, guys.